I believed had the stuff to take us around the country, maybe farther. My hair was buzzed to the scalp. With each step, my steel-toed shoes clapped the sidewalk. I'd left the house shirtless, thinking the darkness might cool things down, but I was sweating before I'd turned out of the driveway. Though I considered myself a shade too pale, a few pounds too skinny, just then I was unashamed. No one was around to see. My pace doubled as I scanned the street, keeping an eye out for the headlights of my sister Caitlin's Ford Escort. 6 hours earlier, our dad had made off with her beloved two-door, driving straight from the parking lot of Brighton Center for Recovery to who the hell knew where. The moon, probably. Over the rainbow. I turned onto Ridgewood Drive, a central road that wound through the neighborhood. Subdivision, they called it around there. Friday night, yet the streets were so still, so quiet. My footsteps echoed off garage doors. It wasn't hard to imagine the place deserted, the homes vacated, jutting nails where pictures once hung, wall-to-wall carpet imprinted by the legs of long-gone furniture. My friends back in Dearborn called my new hood a McMansion village, the kind of place glimpsed from any Midwestern freeway, a sprawl of prefabricated colonies just outside whatever major city you're approaching. Facade towns, of vinyl siding and numbskull architecture not meant to survive too far into the future. Other than certain windows lit from inside, every house looked the same to me, especially up top, where their rooftops met the sky. The bat was feeling lighter by the second. I gave it a shake, passed it from one hand to the other, and then the song inside changed. A tonal variation corresponding to the moment. Quiet at first, like someone faded the volume knob, only to begin inching it slowly toward mind-searing decibels. Back at our house, Mom and Caitlin had gone to bed nervous, mounting the stairs as though, before they reached the top, they might hear the escort pulling into the driveway. Still, like any other night, they'd yanked their blonde hair into ponytails and scrubbed the day from their faces. If I knew them at all, there'd be some prayers going on. They hadn't said much, other than, "I don't believe this." They hadn't quite learned to speak the words, crack cocaine, and neither had I. To say it was to acknowledge the arrival of an alien terror, something not meant for people like us, decent, true-blooded Catholics. All of us but me, anyway. Though I'd long ago coerced my mom into naming our black-bearded terrier Ozzy, Mr. Osborne himself had once seemed the devil incarnate. As a kid, I'd stashed his albums in the cleverest places, knowing even then the grief it would cause my sweet mother to find her 12-year-old son's copy of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Its jacket decorated by a demon-inclusive orgy presided over by the number 666. Now Ozzy was 7, and heavy metal was old news. A studded leather cartoon. I was on to Black Flag, and Mom was facing a truer menace. We'd landed in Ridgewood Hills 2 years earlier by means of my dad muscling up the ranks of Ford Motor and saving stock options along the way. We'd gone from used Pintos to tourist station wagons, bargain brand everything, to the usual supplies you find at the mall. Dad said we'd moved because Detroit was a lost cause. A maniac on Greenfield Avenue had flashed a knife at my mom just before our place went on the market. Truly, the motive had been to widen the distance between him and the drug netherworld. Mom hoped a move 20 minutes west would do the trick, to this town whose name I rarely spoke. The sidewalks had no crabgrass. The cars were new, tucked into garages, sodded lawns and rock gardens, motion sensor lights tripping on when the wind blew. The lie I told most often was that I still lived in Dearborn, the city I'd been raised in, 15 minutes from the Ambassador Bridge and flanked by Detroit to the north and east. There, my family had